Welcome to Boulder City City Council. We appreciate everybody being here or listening in. Call the meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, posting a roll call, please.
Yes, thank you. The agenda was posted in accordance with Nevada open meeting law, and all council members are present.
Thank you. We will open our meeting with an invocation by Cantor Philip Goldstein from the congregation Shirat Shalom. Please all stand and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to follow.
Thank you. Thank you. So will you bow your head as I pray? Dear wise and loving God, first let us say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for loving us from your boundless and gracious nature. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings. Thank you for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you as well for our great country and its freedoms. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor and for the various levels of city officials and, in particular, this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace as well in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you, O God, and what would benefit those who live and work and around our beloved city. It is in your most blessed name that I pray, and together we say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Cantor Goldstein.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
In the way of public announcements, the City of Boulder City is celebrating the holiday season with two items that are apropos. The city is accepting items to be donated that will help people, and the donations such as shampoo, conditioners, toothpaste, unused, Q-tips, dental floss, mouthwash, etc., diapers, hand sanitizer, socks, hats, gloves, and there is a box outside of the clerk's office where all those things can be brought and can be used at the appropriate time in the appropriate way by our emergency aid of Boulder City, but we do appreciate everybody being involved with that. Likewise, the city clerk's office is hosting a exciting civic engagement initiative, the I Voted Sticker Design Contest. So we have a design of what the announcement's about, but the announcement basically, the contest is open for all Boulder City students in the following grades, K2, 535, 68, and 912, to be awarded winners of stickers. So those can be handed in to the clerk's office, and we appreciate people who are going to be involved with that and invite people to meet that contesting opportunity. We will open the meeting's public comment. The first public comment is designed for items on the agenda. Anyone who would like to take up to 3 minutes, come forward and do that for items on the agenda. And if you don't have an item on the agenda, you can wait for the second public comment towards the end of the meeting. Anyone at this time would like to come forward is welcome to do so. If you are on the phone, you can call 702-589-9629. That's 702-589-9629. Anyone on the phone, Madam City Clerk? Anyone here in council chambers? If not, I will close public comment and we will go to approval of the regular agenda. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that brings us to approval of the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
And is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That is likewise unanimous. Brings us to the regular agenda. Item 9, consideration of Bill 2087. Thank you, Michael.
Good evening, Mayor Hardy and members of City Council. Michael Mays, your Deputy City Manager. Title IV of our code regulates businesses. And one of the things that staff has identified is that there's provisions in the code specifically that relate to the regulation of massage therapists that are out of date and not in compliance with state law. And so staff has prepared a text amendment that brings Title IV as it relates to the regulation of massage therapists into compliance with state law, and also removes the requirement for a shower facility in a massage therapy premise. And so we have prepared the bill for your consideration, and I can answer any questions regarding this item.
Any questions? No. I will accept a motion.
Move to approve Bill 2087.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That's unanimous. Thank you. Brings us to our regular business.
Mayor, if I might, I just want to mention that the bill would become known as ordinance number 1870, effective November 6, 2025.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And on our regular business, Mr. Mays, sounds like you're still there.
I am. So moving on to agenda item 10. This is matters related to Track 350. So Track 350 is approximately 45 acres of city-owned land located at the southwest corner of Adams Boulevard and Bristol Cone Drive, as you can see on the screen there. In 2010, the voters approved the sale of the land for single-family development. Thank you, Holly. In 2015, the City Council approved the current zoning for the land, which includes R17, R110, and R115 single-family zoning. Well, what does that mean? R110 means that the lots must be at least 10,000 square feet. R17, that the minimum lot size should be 7,000 square feet, and then the same for R115. Following a request for a proposal or an RFP process in 2021, Toll Brothers was selected by the City Council to develop this 45 acres. Also, in 2021, the voters approved a ballot question which said that the proceeds from the sale of this 45 acres should be divided into two areas. 90% should pay for the new pool that the city is working to achieve, and 10% should go toward public safety capital improvements. Since then, Toll Brothers and the city have entered into a sales contract for the sale of the land, and the developer has been engaging the community on the proposed development. Holly, if you could advance it, please. And preparing plans to develop the site that includes 10 different floor plans that will be developed over 3 phases. The development proposal meets the land use designation requirements in the city's master plan. On June 18th of this year, Planning Commission recommended approval of the subdivision exception request, which I'll explain in more detail in a second. On September 17th, Planning Commission recommended approval of the tentative map. Each subdivision requires tentative map approval by the City Council and then final map approval by the City Council for development of that subdivision. On September 29th, the allotment committee evaluated the development and provided a rating of 75% for the development, which is one of the requirements to advance residential development in Boulder City to comply with the growth control ordinance. And so before you this evening is the tentative map for the proposed 121 lot subdivision called Liberty Ridge. In addition to the tentative map, Toll Brothers is also seeking exceptions from the subdivision regulations. These exceptions can be approved by the City Council and were reviewed by the Planning Commission. There are 3, and it includes granting private streets within this subdivision instead of public streets, which is consistent with the approvals for Storybook Homes. Staff is recommending that the City Council hold the public hearing that's required for tentative map consideration, and then to consider Resolution 8049 that would approve the subdivision exceptions for this development, and Resolution 8050 that would approve the tentative map. I'm here to answer any questions, as well as there are representatives from Toll Brothers here to answer council questions.
Any questions?
I have one question of Toll Brothers. I get asked almost every day, when can someone purchase one of your homes? When will you be available to allow people to view the plans and purchase?
We've had that question a lot.
Me too.
Yes. So for Isaac Summers, representing the applicant Toll Brothers, the website should be up fairly soon. Right now, we plan on opening to public sale in early May of next year. Usually, we like to give a 6-month buffer prior to our public open for sale to release that documentation on our website. So that should be coming, say, around the holiday season this year.
Okay.
And that information will be initially available on our website. Potential buyers can go in and fill out early buyer VIP request forms and things of that nature that let us know and our sales staff that there's buyers out there. They'll start to make those initial contacts early next year, and then again, that public open for sale is set for May.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Other questions?
I have one, and it can be for both the applicant as well as Mr. Mays. And this is relative to the elevations. The elevations proposed for the pads in the development, which is now we're calling Liberty Ridge.
Yes.
We've grown so used to Track 350, that might be a hard habit to break. As compared to the lots of the developments to the east. Mm-hmm. So there's, the furthest south development on Bristlecone, and then it's an uphill, grind all the way up to Adams. So my question is, are they relatively similar as they go up from Liberty Ridge to those that are on the east side?
Yes, during our site development, we tried to keep as closely as we could to the natural grade. There is a natural high point at the corner of Bristlecone and Adams,
Mm-hmm.
and then east, so that would be going southwest and directly south. That's kind of where the fall happens, the natural grade. What we've done is we haven't raised those pad elevations so that they're higher than that natural grade. A lot of our retaining allows us to drop down with that grade as it falls down the hill.
Great.
Does that answer your question?
It does,
Okay.
yeah. And let me just, if I can, Mayor, make a couple comments. Thank you for working with our community over the many, many months of this and for responding so articulately to all of the questions and concerns that have been brought up. I think that this is going to be a positive for Boulder City, and working with a developer that is so interested in community participation and responding. And it hasn't been easy. I've been to those public meetings. And so thank you for your diligence and your patience in working together with us, and for the nod to the veterans and the military, which is Boulder City embraces so well, and that you've helped us embrace in the naming of the development, as well as many of the streets inside.
Yes, it's definitely been our pleasure. We've enjoyed working with staff all the way through our neighborhood meetings and working with the general public and answering as many questions as we possibly can. We always consider ourselves community partners, especially when we're going into a market where there's maybe some speculation on what we may be bringing, the product, what it's going to look like, how that's going to change the landscape, how that's going to change the real estate climate. We're always very cognizant of that, so we try to do our best to answer those questions when they come up, and work with the general public and with the governing officials and staff members, and always try to do the best job that we can.
Well, thank you. And you have, I'm sure you're very, very well aware, and you don't need it to be mentioned here. However, for the general public, this is the last public golf course in all of Clark County, considering there's a moratorium on new golf courses.
Yes.
Which hopefully will make this, highly desirable, which will benefit both the community as well as, your marketing plan. Hopefully that, you'll find this to be a mutually beneficial product that you're bringing to Boulder City. So
Absolutely, it's definitely a unique development site. So we are looking forward to having the opportunity, and then looking forward to what we're going to be able to bring to, like you say, one of the kind of last standing pieces like this in all of Las Vegas Valley.
yeah, and it's as far as the what are we calling them? The variances. They're not variances, but the exceptions, right? This is a unique property in that you're boundaried on one side by a golf course and on the other side by a street, and nothing within that is movable. Mm-hmm. And so these these exceptions, in a private, right, not gated, but private HOA governed development, certainly are within your purview. They don't provide a detriment to Boulder City by any means by the slightly narrower setbacks there, are not setbacks, but the widths that we have for the sidewalk and the street. And we have examples within the community that already mirror that, and it's working just fine. And we appreciate what you've already stated, that there will be no parking of recreational vehicles on there, so as to keep it neat and presentable, and that the neighbors will have their views outside of their homes and so forth. So
We keep that in mind too when we're doing subdivision site development. Is we try to think about not just how it's going to look when it's fresh and brand new, but how to kind of take that value and extend it as far as we can into the future. So we, through our history and our experience, we've found certain things that help to keep the value in a property long after Toll Brothers is gone and out.
yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, first off, thank you for thinking beyond, because homes that are only meant to last a little while last a long time here in Boulder City.
Yes.
So those homes will be here long after us. I had a couple questions / clarifications for people who don't want to read the entire packet and just are tuning in maybe to get I like to call them cliff notes. So in the packet, it talks about phases that you will be doing. Can you elaborate a little bit on how you see that going?
So we've broken the site up into 3 different phases. Mainly that's due to the building allotments that we're allowed to have 30 per year. So we purchased the land in those segments, those phases. So that allows us to develop through each phase, subsequently with the 30 allotments per year that are allowed. Does that make sense?
Which is great, right? So you're keeping it in accordance to what we have set in place, and you've made accommodations for that to make sure. And then I had questions about the cul-de-sacs that would be facing out on Bristlecone. It said that they're offset from the others on the other side of the street.
Yes.
Do you know how much offset they are?
The minimum, I think, is either 125 or 150 foot offset, and what that does is that creates more of a traffic calming for Bristlecone. Bristlecone has kind of been known to, especially coming down the hill, has been known to have cars accelerating there. So that, along with the improvements that are happening in Bristlecone, will hopefully alleviate that a little bit and keep, now that this is going to be fully residential feeding onto Bristlecone, we certainly don't want excess speed or accidents happening. There's going to be pedestrian walkways like there is on the east side right now. That will be mirrored on the west side. So with pedestrians and traffic and residents feeding onto that, we want to keep that to a minimum.
Nice. And do you see Bristlecone on there? You have it as 2 single lanes, right?
Yes.
Still keeping it that way, and with the improvements on the side that we see on the other side.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it will be 1 lane in either direction, and then what's mirrored right now on the east side of Bristlecone will be very similar on the west side. So same pedestrian traffic, bike lanes, and travel lanes on either side, north and southbound.
Thank you. I would echo what Council Member Walton said, that this has been a process, and it's been a long one, and you've been patient and hopefully come to love our people like we love our people, passionate about Boulder City, which means they'll be passionate about what you build and share with our friends. I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly, that you could fill out forms of a VIP interest in the fall on your website. Is that what you said?
More
This
around
one?
the holiday season, is that if that's fall or winter.
Winterish?
Yeah.
And that website would be,
On our main tollbrothers.com website.
okay,
Yep.
maintollbrothers.com. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I look forward to meeting my new neighbors. I'm right down the street from where you're building. I have a question that I had heard in the Planning Commission on park spacing, so recreational spacing. I think they were saying that one of the problems was there wasn't enough space for just recreational, walking around the neighborhood, having a park. Can you address that?
So there's, aside from entryway, common spaces, common landscaping, there's 3 park spaces. So 1 along the north side of the property, and then 2 on the southern portion of the property. The design purpose behind that is to give more of that open space or recreational potential for the residents that are on the smaller, the R17 size lots. The idea is that if there's more lot size available to a resident, so if you have a 10 or 15,000 square foot lot, you have more availability to use your lot as recreational space, whereas the 7,000 square foot lots may not have as much, so more open space is allocated to that end of the project.
Also, I don't think you're in a flight pattern near the airport, but I think you may have a few planes or helicopters going over. Has that issue been talked about or addressed?
I believe, I would have to go back to the title report. I believe there is. If there isn't, we will most likely be filing a navigation easement over the property, and that will inform current buyers and/or any potential future property owners that they are near a flight pattern. Yeah.
That's important. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just say thank you for coming to Boulder City. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. We absolutely enjoy it.
You guys created a great product, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you. It's been our pleasure. It's working with staff and the residents has been amazing.
I was looking at your schematic, your tentative map. When you talk about the mirroring of one side of Bristlecone to the other, the pathway is mirrored, but not the plants and the offset for the fence, as it were. Is that correct?
You're talking about the landscaping on the shoulder?
Right.
It'll be, so there's the landscape plan on the west side will match similarly to what's on the east side.
And will that be the city watering those plants, or?
It depends on where the right-of-way line falls, but our HOA has a common element easement that borders the property on that side.
Okay, so you're going to water those?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have now a public hearing. Now, both resolutions, Resolution 8049 and 8050, B&E on our agenda. In the public hearing, anybody can come up in public hearing and make comments or have questions, either on either resolution, but we will take the resolutions when we vote separately and distinctly. So we'd now like to open the public hearing on those two resolutions, 8049 and 8050. So if anyone would like to come forward in this public hearing time and say anything, and otherwise you can call in at 702-589-9629. Is there anyone on the phone? Anyone here in chambers like to come forward? And we will close the public hearing, and we will go to Resolution 8049, and I would accept a motion, or Mr. Mays, you'd like to say something?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I move to approve resolution number 8049.
Is
Second that.
moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Thank you. And then we'll look at resolution number 8050. Is there a motion?
I move to approve 8050, the map, the tentative map.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the tentative map for resolution 8050. And is there discussion?
Steve seconded
Is there a second?
it. Steve did that.
Steve did. Is there a discussion after it's been moved and seconded? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Mays.
So, moving on, if you're ready, Mayor, we can move on to agenda item 11.
Sure.
Southern Nevada Regional Planning Commission, or referred to as SNRPC, was created by the Nevada legislature in 1999 to foster intergovernmental cooperation within Southern Nevada. The primary responsibility of the SNRPC was development and implementation of a regional plan focusing on transportation, development, and economic development issues. Following the creation of the Southern Nevada Strong Plan, its management was turned over to the RTC. Now, with limited responsibilities, the regional jurisdictions are proposing the elimination of SNRPC and the creation of a Southern Nevada Council of Governments, or SNCOG, to replace it. The SNCOG would cooperatively address regional issues, identify common needs, and then present recommendations to the jurisdictions to consider adoption. Just like SNRPC, the SNCOG would recognize and respect local autonomy and decision-making of the jurisdictions within Southern Nevada. And so you have before you the resolution which would enter into that interlocal agreement with the other jurisdictions in Southern Nevada for the creation of the SNCOG. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay.
Can you explain exactly what they would be doing? Because in the past, there's been nothing for us to do. And it seems to me, and maybe you can explain this, is that Henderson has different issues than we have, than Las Vegas or Pahrump. And it seems like if you're going to be doing something, your time should be well spent. And I don't feel this is being well spent, so maybe you have some issues, you could change my mind.
Well, certainly, we've all recognized the challenges the SNRPC has had over the last several years, trying to identify how they can find a niche and a role that doesn't duplicate other agencies within Southern Nevada. And that's why they came to this conclusion that as a body, they can take a regional issue and study it, and with that analysis, come together as a board and present recommendations to the jurisdictions. That really focuses and narrows their role and responsibility, because SNRPC had several responsibilities before, and they wanted to simplify. Also, this group would only meet once a quarter. As you may recall, Councilwoman Booth, that previously with SNRPC, they were meeting upwards to once a month, and there just wasn't the business to merit that type of activity. And so the effort here is to find those types of issues that do impact all the jurisdictions and thoroughly research it through the resources of the SNCOG, and then be able to provide that information to the jurisdictions. One of the good examples that came out of SNRPC was they looked at recommended plants for new development within the jurisdictions within Southern Nevada. And so they did an in-depth study on that. They identified plants that really don't do well in a desert climate, and they list those and they mark those accordingly, but then they highlight those that are beneficial and do thrive. And through that research and analysis, communities like Boulder City have adopted that as a way to guide developers on the most appropriate plants that can be utilized with new development. And so I would anticipate the Southern Nevada Council of Governments would be looking to similar types of issues, coming up with recommendations, best practices, if you will, that would help all the jurisdictions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, I am currently sitting on that board, the Council of Governments, and, we're trying to find our way, getting settled in. I think we talked about a little bit yesterday that having a seat at the table is good, just to keep our pulse on what's going on. I would suggest that we watch it for a year. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, I think everyone would be in one accord across the Southern Nevada. But I think it's something that, again, we can keep our pulse on what's going on in Vegas and Henderson and be a player in that way. So I suggest that we would continue, or I think it's $5,000, something like that, for Boulder City. It's not very expensive because we're rural and we have a small community. But I think for that, it warrants us to have a seat at the table.
Thank you.
I know that when we have our briefings on Monday, we usually ask all of our questions and get everything out so that we can be most informed. And I think a question that I asked, you said, was also a concern for others, and that is the forming of another agency that could become so large, right, that or have more power than intended in some way, shape, or form. I loved what you said to me, and that is just what Denise said after a year. If when we're evaluating how this new agency works out, we see that this is not beneficial for Boulder City and or that it's not working, we have the potential to also bow out at that time. I too agree that initially what you would want to do is have a seat at the table if there are voting members from each municipality. I'm a little concerned to see what their mission is. I hope it's more than choosing desert hardy plants. Not that I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, but I just want to see what it is that you really what's really going to be happening in this group, to see the purpose behind the forming of another group. So I'm behind the idea of giving it some time, and looking and making sure initially, depending on where it goes, that we do have a seat at the table. But I really think we should keep our eye on it.
Sounds like we're having our discussion now, so I'll weigh in. Thank you, Mr. Mays, for the presentation, for introducing this. I think that because of the very close duplication with the RTC, the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Committee really found themselves, without much work to do. As I read the purpose as presented here, it's substantially different, and there may be crossover with a variety of other committees and boards within Southern Nevada. But the purpose is written, and I think it's very important that we join in and then participate in the establishment of the bylaws and the voting process and the modification process, that it would require an equal participation from all members, and that we keep it, through our participation and membership therein, focused on the purpose as stated here, and we then, as a voting member, would be able to keep it focused. And I think it's very important that we stay in touch, and it's always good to form relationships with our other community leaders. And even if we're not thrilled with something that may be kind of pushing the edges of its purpose, we'll at least know what's going on and have the ability to have influence, and because of the relationships built, be able to hopefully guide it to make sure that it's beneficial to everybody involved. So I support it. I'm glad that people are forward thinking in the planning idea, strategic thinking forward. Southern Nevada is growing and facing a lot of issues as far as land and planning for where a variety of the typical residential, commercial, and infrastructure for highways and roadways might be. It's hard to say how this group would get involved in that, but at least we're at the table participating. I think it's very important. I support it. So I don't know that I have any questions. I think the one clarifying thing that I asked in our briefing yesterday was to ensure that it's not a legislating body, and that nobody will be bound by any of the decisions that come from that group. It would be recommendations for.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Go ahead.
If I understood correctly, they will have no voting power whatsoever.
There will be votes on the board, and they will make decisions as to the things that they pursue and research. But that does not impact the jurisdictions anyway.
It doesn't impact it wouldn't impact Boulder City. I personally don't have a problem with 1 year of looking at it because they are redesigning this. But is there a way we can bring it back in a year and discuss what they're doing to see if it's worth the $5,000? Because I know there's a lot of businesses around town and charities around town that would love $5,000. So if they're not working up to their potential, I'd like to know that in a year. Is there a way we can bring that forward to bring it back in a year?
Yeah, it
Look
can
at
always be brought back for consideration before the council.
Okay.
And if the SN COG is formed, this council will appoint one of the city council members to serve on that board, and that member will have an opportunity to report out to the council what is occurring with the SN COG.
Thank you.
Thank you. I look at this as we are assessed money by population. And yet, Boulder City gets a vote every bit as akin to any other city of 500,000 or 1 million people. So when we are on these boards as a participant of the board, Boulder City gets an equal vote. And the old adage of if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu has some reality. So I'm a firm believer in being at the table and protecting Boulder City as we need to from time to time, and not only protecting, but adding to the conversation that is involved with the growth that we have in the greater Clark County, Las Vegas area. So I am appreciative of what they're trying to do, and I think that Boulder City can be well represented, whichever one of us is there. And obviously, we have someone who has been doing a good job in the other place, so thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
So am I the only one that wants to come back in a year? Because I can do what everybody else wants to do, but I don't know if, it's not okay to ask that question?
No, of course that's okay to ask that question. I was just anticipating answering it.
Oh, you're, okay.
Yeah,
I just wondered if I'm the only one wanting 1 year, then I don't have to do that. But if everybody else is,
I was just going to point out the agreement itself requires that any funds due and owing from a member to fund the organization have to be approved by the governing body of the member. So when we're asked to make an appropriation to the Council of Governments, that will be an opportunity where this will be on the agenda and you can discuss the appropriateness of wanting to fund the organization or withdraw at that time. So it's already kind of built into the agreement that this will come back before the body as
in a
subject.
year, basically?
It's not set on a time frame, but once the organization's created, they will have to get together a budget and get that proposal to each member. So I imagine that will happen within 1 year. But we can, in your motion, you absolutely could also require that city staff come back with sort of a status check on the organization, where you can we can give you an update on how it's forming and the values and the mission, and at that time you can give us direction on whether we want to continue or withdraw. You can add that to your motion as well, but I just wanted to point out that the funding of the organization is going to come back on an agenda, so it will also come back to you.
Thank you.
Personally, I'm very uncomfortable with voting on anything that puts a limit that we already can get out of anyway. The political message that we don't trust them, or we don't like them, or we don't want to participate with them, when we've already been given an equal vote with, quite frankly, a very de minimis amount of money to have an equal seat at a very important table, I would be very reluctant to vote for anything that puts a limit when we already have a limit that we can do anyway. I think the message we need to show is that we're on board, we're going to do it, and we want to participate in the group. Other than that, I won't vote for it.
I agree with you, Mayor.
I'm in agreement with you, Mayor, as well. It is a group where if it's... Can you hear me now? Okay. It's a group where I think it's going to pan out or not, but it's going to be 100%. All the counties, all the groups that represent the counties will speak on that. But I think that, like the Mayor said, for a little bit of money just to sit on it, watch it, I think it'll be unanimous one way or the other. It's either going to grow or it's going to fall. And right now, they're just putting it together. I think in a year, they'll have all that. I'm not sure what whoever represents from Boulder City, is it a year or 2 years or 3 years? I don't know how long that is, but like Brittany said, it'll come back around. But I think it'll be unanimous in the whole group if it's not going anywhere, because they're spending a lot more money than we are, and I can't imagine they're going to spend money on if there's no progress. And we got housing, we got a lot of issues that are going on that I would like to be, in the mix to find out what everybody else is doing, but we're either going to grow together or we're going to fall together, but I don't think we should just pull out.
I'll accept a motion.
I make a motion to resolution number 80510, approving the agreement.
Is it
I'll second.
a discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to the city manager's report, claims paid report.
Nothing unusual in the report for this month.
And that brings us to number 13, city manager's report on financial report.
Again, the details are there for the public and the council to look at, and nothing unusual to point out.
Thank you. And that brings us to public comment. Anyone can take 3 minutes at this time to come forward or call in for public comment. If you could state your well-named name and let us know.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. It's an honor to be here. I think the last time I stood at this podium was Roger Tubler's second year as mayor. Well, I'm here today to invite the council.
Could you state your name anyway?
Steve Sanson, President of Veterans in Politics.
Thank you.
I'm here to invite the council to our 8th biennial Valentine's Day Ball and Gala. It's going to be on February 7th, which is a Saturday, between the hours of 5 and 10 p.m. at the Suncoast Casino Hotel. And Mayor, we're going to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award. You and former Justice Michael Cherry. And I believe this will be our 4th Lifetime Achievement Award we ever gave out. And there's going to be lots of dancing and romancing. And that goes for everybody here, too, if they want to come. And everybody that's watching. So if you want to get your tickets, go to veteransinpolitics.org. And it's going to be fun. And we'll love to have a lot of the city council from Boulder City over there. And Councilman Walton, I don't think I've met you. Have I met you before? You could comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, typically there's not an exchange, but I will say I don't recall having met you, sir.
well-
But I look forward to the opportunity.
Well, I'm glad to see you, Councilman Walton. I've met everybody else, so I haven't met you, so I like to familiarize myself. So that's all I have. You guys doing an excellent job. Excellent job. I like what you guys do over here in Boulder City. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else here? Okay.
Hi, Brenda Delormier. Hi, Mayor. Hi, Council. I came to say a word, and I don't know if my written public comment got to. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So I think you all got a written public comment from me with a couple of pictures of what I wanted to explain tonight. And no worries if you haven't seen it, because I got it in at the last minute, as I usually do, and thank you for forwarding it at the last minute. So I recently relocated my father from the East Coast out here to Boulder City, to the Lakeview Terrace Assisted Living Facility on Ville Drive, across 93. And there's not a whole lot over there to walk to, except for our Hemingway Park, which is a lovely place. Except for there's a sidewalk on only one side of the road, the one that Lakeview Terrace is on. And that's kind of a large road. I'm sure you've all been there. It's kind of a large road to cross. And we've realized this walking up the street. It's actually a really short walk to Hemingway Park, but it's a huge road to cross. The posted speed limit is 25 miles an hour. Nobody goes 25 miles an hour. We've realized this walking up there several times. So I wanted to propose a lighted crosswalk, you know, the kind where you press a button on the side and the lights start flashing. Maybe around, I think it's Key Largo Drive, where there's also at least one residential neighborhood that you pass. And I proposed this on Facebook and on Nextdoor as well. And between those two sites, there have been, in the past couple days, over 100 positive comments seconding it, saying, yes, and people speed, and we need curb cutouts for people in wheelchairs. And somebody proposed speed bumps, and there was a large discussion about yes or no on that. But yeah, so I'd just like to request that you all consider or send it on to the traffic board, a crosswalk there. So I very much appreciate that, and I think a lot of other people in this town would too. And in addition to that, I had noticed, well, actually a couple people had noticed recently on the printed agendas for city council meetings, for commission meetings, there's new wording on them that reads, I'm sure you've all read it, about that you all reserve the right to make us leave if we disturb the meeting in any way. And I just wanted to state that I took issue with a couple of things there, because I know I can stand up here and be a broken record all day long. So there's a saying in there about repetitive comments. It also says, without limitation, which is kind of broad. And it also says, one of the disruptions can be applause. I've heard people applaud in here left and right. And one of the things that was disturbing was video recording, which I think is legal per the First Amendment, and I'm sorry, I went over my time. And it says other acts, which just is really open to interpretation. So that was disturbing to me and a bunch of other people. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention and hope that you reconsider that. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else here? We do have someone on the line.
Public comment?
Good evening. For the verbatim record, Fred Volz. Government openness and transparency calls for major project parameters to be publicly revealed as soon as they are known, not a week before a council vote. This city has three major pending projects: the multi-swimming pool complex, potential wastewater reuse, and a new irrigation system for the municipal golf course. In total, they prospectively will cost over $75 million of public money. With the pool complex's design complete and out for construction bids, a revised design done for the municipal golf course irrigation project, and a first draft given to the city by SNWA for wastewater reuse options, there is no reason why these three projects' design work papers and requests for proposals should not be posted on the city website for public review. A report at the last council meeting concerning water led to some further research. Ongoing excuses for lack of conservation include Boulder City doesn't use that much, any saved water will be absorbed in more Las Vegas Valley growth, and the city refuses to remove significant amounts of ornamental turf in parks, golf courses, and residents. How about doing our part? SNWA has spent many millions of dollars nagging the citizenry to conserve water, yet looking at the first 8 months of use for calendar years 23, 24, and 25, city golf course usage has increased by almost 36%. Municipal, government, and park usage has increased by almost 21%. Residential use increased 14%. Commercial is up 4%. And others up by 15.4%. These statistics come from the city website's water consumption page, summary attached. Clearly, the city, its facilities, and other government users are the biggest consumers of water, with over 55% of total consumption. A FOIA to SNWA determined that Boulder City has never applied for or received a water conservation project grant in the last 5 years. Why not? Hoping that Mother Nature will come to the rescue is indeed a long shot given over 20 years of drought. When is Boulder City going to do its part to seriously assist in addressing the region's worsening water supply problems? Waiting to be told what to do is not leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the phone? Anyone else here? We will close public comment and the meeting is adjourned, except we have to do city council report. I'm trying. City council report. Councilman Walton, start with you, please.
Thank you, Mayor. And on the committee with the Southern Nevada Water Authority, there's no new information since my last report on September 23rd. The Colorado River Commission has canceled the meeting for this month. So I'm just going to give 3 highlights of LVCVA. There's a lot more to give, but these are the ones I chose. We have a WNBA team here in Southern Nevada, as most people should know, the Las Vegas Aces. They won their 3rd WNBA championship in 4 years last month. So I'll give the fact and then the what it means. And then last month there was also the Canelo and Crawford boxing match. If you're into sports and boxing, you'll know what that means, but it was 2 superstars coming together for a boxing match. It was held at Allegiant Stadium on September 13th. Record attendance of 7,482 people, the most people to ever watch a boxing match in the history of Las Vegas boxing matches. And there was also over 41 million global viewership carried on Netflix. And what that means, Las Vegas continues to be brought to the forefront by these activities, by the success of our sports teams, by hosting these world-renowned and world-viewed events like the boxing match. And then the final highlight, the Routes World route, as in a flight route where airplanes are flying. Routes World Air Travel Convention was held in Hong Kong last month with destination representatives from all over the world. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority team was named #1 as the #1 destination team because of their increase in airline carriers and the increase in flights to Las Vegas and their productive partnership with the Las Vegas International Airport. And so continuing to, even though we've had economic downturns, the LVCVA is doing everything they possibly can with the resort partners and the sports and destinations locations to keep Las Vegas at the forefront. If you watch any of those sporting events, Las Vegas branding is there, so people around the world are watching that and they're seeing Las Vegas branding, and whether it's subliminal or overt, either way, we're getting the name out so people continue to come to Las Vegas. And I think we all enjoy the ability to fly to, whether it's visiting family or friends for holidays or for events or on vacation. We have a lot of airline options leaving from here to a lot of destinations, and that's because they're bringing them in, and we can hop on the return flights out. And so the fact that our LVCVA team won the #1 destination team is substantial, very significant. It benefits us directly because we get to fly on those very airlines and air carriers that are going back to the places they brought people from. So anyway, those are just a few of the highlights, the facts of them and what they benefit. And all of it means more dollars and more jobs to Southern Nevada, which either directly or indirectly benefits our citizens and our community. Thanks, Mayor.
Maybe less exciting committees that I'm serving on our board. I'm not sure if 41 million turned into the last debt commission meeting or not. It's questionable. But was able to serve on my committees and happy to do so. Wanted to thank all those who came in and helped participate for public safety, for Worst Fest, for Art in the Park. All you have to do is try to go out of town on one of those days and see how much traffic's coming into town to know how many people come in to visit our city, see our city, and that means an increased workload for quite a few people, and we thank you for that. And we thank our residents for the patience, because it typically goes back to benefit the students that live here, the people who attend our hospitals. It's a way that our community can keep providing the awesome services that it provides for the number of people who actually live here. I'm thankful for the chamber, They work hard to be able to keep our city going and our businesses going. And I think it's worth announcing, if you haven't thought about going back downtown to see if the roads are open. The roads are open. The businesses have always been open. But go down, support, give them your love. They've had some growing pains lately that haven't felt so good. So go down, see the good work, try out parallel parking. I recommend it. It looks kind of spacious. So thank you.
I'd like to thank, on something Sherry brought up, is Gary Poindexter and Terry from the Coffee Cup, because they did a lot of great work. The people that I run into are quite happy with the way downtown is, and I know that those two spend a lot of time. So thank you, Gary, and thank you, Terry, for all your hard work. Also, Grace Community Church is going to have their country store this weekend. It starts on Friday and Saturday, and everybody else in town will have a garage sale, so it'll be a big garage sale time this weekend for everybody. And I also want to thank the city manager for helping with the massage therapy issue when that came up. That was greatly appreciated. And also that Emergency Aid has a gala coming up. And if you're not aware of Emergency Aid, if you don't have time to go to the gala, if you can just take a little check over to them, $5, $100, whatever you can afford, they would greatly appreciate it, because everything they do goes back into the community, and they help people with their utility bills, with their rental payments, their house payments. So if they're in need, the Emergency Aid's helping them, and almost every penny goes back into our community. So I think they're just a great example. And also, I'd like to say that on the Art in the Park, the girls did a wonderful job this year, and I hope everybody got to go see them. And if they don't, go next year. But they did an amazing job for our small little hospital that is so needed and so well used, and we appreciate all of them. And that's all that I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything to report on as far as boards, but I would like to, not sure if it was a public announcement or not, but just thank Joe Stubik for his kindness. He came on, it seemed like right around the time that I did, and he was one of the first people that I met, and I will miss him dearly. Just a good servant for Boulder City, so thank you for your service, Joe. Also, I wanted to put on my military hat. Wreath Across America is one of the biggest youth events that Boulder City hosts down at the only Southern Veterans Cemetery here in Boulder City. It will take place on December 13th. If you'd like to purchase a wreath, just let me know about that. Lots of groups are doing that. We have 30,000 graves that we put wreaths on. And it's just a wonderful event, and it's a way to say thank you to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Also, to say thank you for those who are serving, because there's a lot of military that attend this event as well. Boulder City is humming in October and November. Sherry, I think, mentioned some of them, and Cookie mentioned some of the events that are coming up. But we just have a lot of stuff going on here, and for a little town, it's why I moved here. I could walk in 5 minutes everywhere, and the parking, kudos to Gary if he's still around for the job he did on the street. I love it, and people have been coming up to me and saying that they like the way it turned out. Looking forward to the striping of the street and all that's going to take place after. What's the one called? The lighted parade? The Christmas? That is, I mean, people come out of the woodwork, mostly from Vegas and Henderson. It is a special thing. If you haven't been, come, because that is really a neat event, and I always make sure that I'm at that event. What else I got? I think that's it. But I just want to thank our residents for their voices. They always not only have complaints, but they also have kudos for the city as well. So I'm always available, and I just want to thank them, our residents, for just their concern of things going on around Boulder City. Thank you.
Thank you all. I have to say that I am so thrilled and feel so good about this council what they report on is just minuscule as to what they do. Each member of the council is so busy in the community, out of the community, representing the community, representing who we are. We have had such a good reputation because we are so involved with the greater community. And I think that we have been very blessed with all of the people who have been on council and how engaged they are, not just in city council time, but in everything that they do and who they represent and how they do it. I had an interesting experience. We had the CEO, president of Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, come to town, and we gave her a tour. The city manager was the chauffeur in the Lightning truck, and I mean, her eyes just got bigger and bigger and bigger about all the things that Boulder City does, what we do, and how we do it. It was just a fun little ride around town about what the potential is, and she was so impressed. We recruited her, and she was very accomplished where she was before, but the LVCGEA recruited her, and they did the right thing at the right time. So it was very gratifying to have her see all of the things that we do in Boulder City. And if you make a list, it takes more than one page, single-spaced on both sides. We have been very blessed to be in this community. Now, speaking of blessings, we have one of our high school lady golfers get a hole-in-one in this recently. So, I mean, we show up, and it's wonderful to congratulate people who are so involved on every level in Boulder City, and I appreciate everybody's involvement. And with that, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.